What's going on, everybody? It is your boy Chris, man. We are here at the Work Hard, Play Harder podcast. It is Tuesday, December 17th, 2024. My name is Chris Drummond. I am a freelance sports reporter based out of Minnesota here and proprietor of this podcast, Work Hard, Play Harder, where I bring individuals on to talk about their why and get to know them outside of their occupation. I got a special guest that's going to be coming on with me today. She is an actress, and also she is somebody that's been in the industry for a few years now. She is also one of four that hosts SEC sports show where they talk about SEC football, basketball, and everything SEC. She grew up in the Carolinas, and she is right now currently residing in California as we state. Again, she's been in New York and California markets doing different commercials, different acting jobs as well. Her name is Molly Peyton White, and we're going to get to know her why of being in the media industry, talk to her a little bit about her sports show that she does, and get to know her outside of her occupation again. So without any further ado, I introduce to you the wonderful, talented, and the beautiful Molly. Good afternoon, Molly. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing very good. It's wonderful to see your face. You look absolutely lovely today.
Thank you. You too. Thank you for inviting all the girls. This has been so fun. It's been in our group chat for a few weeks now.
No, absolutely, absolutely. I'm still trying to get Blight on. I'm trying to get Georgia on. So those two I'm still do, but definitely had a great time with Emma, and I'm looking forward to having a great time with you as well. Um, it is an absolute pleasure once again to have you on. How is your week starting off so far?
It's been good. We film a few times a week for Sessiestuff. We film starting on Sunday and then a few times again through the week. This week is good though. It's great. I travel home tonight for the holidays, so I'm excited about that.
Right, absolutely. I was doing a little bit of background research on you. I know that you grew up in the Carolinas, if I'm not
Mhm.
mistaken. So I'm guessing that's where home is going to be back for you, going back home there. Um, Also, I found out that you was affiliated with the movie Barbie. That's what's
Mhm.
up. I like that, and we're definitely going to talk about that for sure. I also know that you picked Texas over my Bulldogs, but that's okay. I forgive you. It was a close game. Don't get me wrong. It's not terrible pick, not a terrible pick, but we'll get into that as well. But I just the reason why I wanted to talk to you, Molly, is because I'm a journalist, so I'm in media. I'm freelance now. I've been doing journalistic type of work for the past 6, 7 years. And I love it with a passion. And I love talking to different people in different media spaces. Obviously, you've been an actress, been kind of doing different commercials. I think one of the things I saw that you did was a little Caesars commercial where you was driving in a car. I saw that one. And I love just hearing people's why, like why you wanted to get into that. So without any further ado, my first question is the same as it always is. What is your why? Did you have any inspirations, any role models growing up? But what is your why of wanting to get involved with sports, but also get involved in the acting industry as well?
Yeah, from a really young age, I was actually homeschooled for the majority of my life, and I was a gymnast. So, like, sports has just always kind of been in my life. And then I stopped gymnastics and I started coaching actually, but I went to high school. I went to a public high school, I went to an inner city high school. And I remember like in the movies growing up, like football was really fun. Like you would go to the football games and like the Friday night lights and all that stuff. I was really excited about high school because I wanted to go to the games. And then I got to high school and I realized that like a lot of students don't actually like going to the games, but that was my favorite part of the week was every other Friday night having a home game.
Yep.
And like I would travel and go watch the team play. Um, that ended up changing over the course of my high school years because I think it kind of became cool to go to these games. Like to give you a little bit of a side note about me, like I was nominated or the whole like remembered as a senior in high school or whatever. Like I think I was
Sure.
remembered as like most school spirit or something because I love sports. I would go to all the basketball games, the football
Love
games,
that.
watch tennis. We had a girl at my school. She was like basically a state champion like every year for tennis, and I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
Uh, I think I find it really inspiring to see these athletes because they're very aspirational. It's like their love, it's their commitment. And I think seeing anybody committed to something so fully is just inspiring, and it almost like brings tears to your eyes knowing that somebody has worked so hard and getting to watch them like have that moment of like, wow, like we did it, like we won a state championship, or wow, I got scouted and I'm going D1, or wow, I worked so hard and then I got drafted. So
Right.
sports has always been a thing. I've always loved sports. And then I actually, oddly enough, wanted to be a nurse. That was something I really wanted to do. I wanted to be a nurse midwife because I love women and I love babies. And then I,
Absolutely.
I ended up getting scouted my senior year of high school to model and graduated early. I went straight to New York. I started just working. Which then it was like, oh, well, I can always go to school later. I can do something else. And then that obviously changed. I mean, I could go back to school, but I'm probably not going to. But um, yeah, just being real, probably not going to.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah. But yeah, so I got scouted to model. I moved around a lot, and then COVID happened,
Mhm.
and I was living in LA. I left LA, I went to Miami, and when I was in Miami, I remember an agent telling me like, "You're never gonna make money as a model right now, just because things have changed so much, and the influencer world has kind of taken over. You have to be willing to do commercials and act." And I remember hating actors because it was very cliche. Everybody in LA was an actor. So I was like, I don't really want to be an actor. That's my
Right.
thing. But I went to an acting class, fell in love with it, and almost instantly, like within a few months of that acting class, I started booking commercials. And so um, then I kind of figured out, okay, like this is something I'm decent at. This is something maybe I want to pursue. Ended up started booking movies. It was just like it was kind of like this weird, like, oh, this is where I'm supposed to be. This is just like where God has me. This is just where I am. Um, and then I got the casting notification for my manager called me. He knows I love Texas. I'm a huge Longhorn.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
he saw like a Texas Longhorn female fan breakdown. And he called me and he's like, I just called the producer. You have to, hear about this.
Hmm.
And that's how I met LC, our producer. My manager pushed so hard for me to meet with him. He met with me. And that's kind of how the whole Sessiestuff show got started, was basically a casting call for actors, but actors that love college sports and women in particular. And it's funny because I actually was already watching, he's a producer on another show called Inside Texas. And so I actually
Yeah.
kind of knew of them and I kind of watched their videos occasionally. They would pop up on my For You page. So I was very familiar with his content. And so that was kind of cool. And I'm such like football and hockey are the two sports that I can sit and I can watch without like my team playing. And
Sure.
this was just kind of fun. It was like, wait, I get to talk about all things because we're not just football, like we're Sessiestuff. So like anything SEC related this year, we're going to be talking about. Um,
Absolutely.
yeah, so that's kind of how we ended up today.
I love that. I do, and I love your show. I do. As you probably have noticed, I've commented a plethora of times to the different Instagram posts that you guys have. 'Cause I love y'all takes. And me and Emma was talking about the CFP, which you and I are going to talk about that a little bit as we go along as well. And I love the fact that y'all talk about FC basketball because that's probably my favorite sport um, to even watch and play. I love that. I love the fact y'all talk about basketball, and I'm a huge basketball fan. And a lot of SEC teams are doing pretty well starting off this basketball season for the men and the women, which we'll probably get into a little bit of talk of that as well. Doing my research again with you, Molly. Went to a school called Asheville Buncombe Technical Community College. Uh, I was like, I have never heard of a school of that name ever. First off, I want to know, like, how did you? What was the reasoning of going to that school, or how did you find that school? And were there any other schools that you potentially went to or had on your list that you wanted to go to?
Well, so I, funny enough, took dual credit classes in high school at AB Tech. That was like, it was the technical college literally right behind my high school, so we could walk there. Um,
Wow.
that is the only college I ever did, was actually while I was still in high school. I had a couple credits when I graduated, and
Mhm.
I actually just I never went back. I never continued my education. Um,
Right.
that was just the local tech school, but I think if I were to go back, I remember like money was always on my mind when I was applying for schools. And
Absolutely.
Texas was out of state, which like was sad because I was born in Texas. So I was like, man, you should just like have a birthright to in-state tuition when you're born somewhere. But
Sure. I'm with you on that.
yeah, so I was like, man, like UT is gonna be so expensive if I end up doing it. So I definitely would have applied there, and I probably, as a gymnast, as a little girl, this is so controversial for my opinion, for my views, but I always wanted to be a Georgia gym dog, the Bulldogs with the gym dogs.
Hmm.
I was like begging to go to their camps all the time, so I possibly would have applied for Georgia. I'm just not, especially now in my adult life, that is so sinful in my family to be a Georgia Bulldog fan.
I understand that now. Yep. I
Yeah,
understand.
so definitely not down that road. But yeah, I think I would have honestly only applied to SEC schools. I mean, Texas obviously was an SEC school at that time.
Right.
Um, but just because I was raised in the Carolinas where like a lot of the SEC teams are in the Southeast, obviously, so I was raised there. Um, but yeah, I just remember SEC and then like the Big Ten at the time when I was in high school was like one of the most competitive conferences. It still is. I just feel like the SEC has kind of taken back over the last couple of years, especially
No
joining
question.
OU in Texas.
No
Um,
question.
but we're talking almost 10 years ago. So yeah, the Big Ten was really big back then.
Absolutely. No, I was just really curious about that school because I was like, where in the hell is, I mean, I know it's Asheville, but wow, I've never heard of that school name. So it's like,
Yeah,
okay, let me ask Molly about this one.
because it's Buncombe County, so it's Asheville Buncombe Technical College.
Got
Um,
you.
Yeah, I mean, I literally took like classes as a high school student there, so that's definitely probably why it's listed on anything.
I totally understand. And listen, you made a great decision not to go back. You are thriving and doing what you're doing right now, which is amazing. Amazing to see. Molly, I have some favorite questions here. So you just give me the 411 off the rip based upon these favorite questions. Okay. Are you with me?
Okay, I'm with you.
Okay,
Thank you.
here we go. Favorite meal you like to cook?
Steak.
Oh, you already won my heart, Molly. You already
Steak.
won my heart. I'm
Medium
with you
rare
on that.
steak. Yeah.
Okay. Medium rare steak. Yep, absolutely. Now hold on. What you having with that steak though? What kind of sides we have?
Potatoes, definitely. Potatoes in any form. I could do home fries, I could do fries, I could do mashed potatoes is normally my go-to just because I feel like it's the easiest, less like prepping. But yeah,
Got you.
potatoes and then either broccolini or asparagus. Those are my two greens that I like a lot.
I don't know if you're like opposed to like having new friends, but again, Molly, my name is Chris, and those type of things that I definitely like. So I don't know. I'm just saying. Anytime I'm in California, which is my hometown state, I'm just
Yeah,
saying.
swing by. Me and my friends, we like to like grill out. We'll do steaks and we'll do baked potatoes on the grill, which is really fun. And
Oh
yeah,
my
we have a
God.
blast.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah, we definitely staying in touch. There's no question on that one. Okay, I'm a huge taco person. I love
Wow,
tacos.
hell yeah.
Um, and chicken. Chicken is big on me too. It's whip it up real fast. Life of a sports reporter. We don't get home till super late because games are really evening. So I don't want to cook a long meal. I just want something really fast. So
Amen.
tacos can do that for sure. Okay. Molly, favorite concert you've ever attended?
This is the Taylor Swift Eras tour.
Of course. Of
Yeah,
course.
I mean, there's really, if I'm being honest, I've seen two of Taylor's shows and she just puts on like I saw one as a kid, she was my very first concert, and one as an adult. And I will say she just puts on a really good show.
Okay.
Yeah.
Listen, I don't no haterade for me when it comes to Taylor Swift. Am I a
Right.
Swiftie? No,
No.
but her 1989 album is definitely a classic in my mind.
It's
Um,
funny that you say that because I feel like most men say that that's their album. Like anytime I ask like my brother or my dad, like I'll be like, name a Taylor Swift song. They say something off that album.
Without question, Wildest Dreams is one of my favorite songs ever.
That's my
Um,
brother's favorite song.
mhm, it's really good. The beat is good. It's a nice tempo. Her octaves change throughout the song, which brings in the melody of the song. It's really good. I love that. I love that song. So Wildest Dreams, yes, my favorite. Your
I
brother
love
got good taste. Shout out to your brother. You got good taste when it comes to the
I know.
Taylor Swift for sure.
I
Okay,
know.
okay, I love it. Favorite place you've ever traveled to?
Europe? Yeah, I would have to say, you know what? I would have to say Heidelberg, Germany. I went there a few years ago and I went there with family friends. I stayed with them. They live in K-Town, Germany. And
Hmm.
yeah, we drove to Heidelberg and I think we walked like 25,000 steps that day. It was crazy, but it was so beautiful. It's a college town, so there's lots of young people and the markets were amazing. I want to go back at Christmas time though. But if we're talking just broad general, definitely Heidelberg, Germany. And then in the States, I feel like I've done the drive from North Carolina to California 4 times, and I just can't ever get over like one time we took the long route through like Utah and all that. I mean, St. George, Utah was so beautiful. Like waking up,
Oh my God, definitely beautiful, no question.
it's so gorgeous. And even Moab, like driving through Moab, I was like, this is stunning. The views are amazing. I just might have to move to Utah at some point in my life.
I feel you on that. With me, it's definitely a Midwest as well, but it's
Mhm.
Denver. Denver, Colorado, to me was one of my favorite cities that I've been in. They got some really good food. They're underrated with their food, and they got a great nightlife because I like to work hard and play harder. So yes,
I
absolutely.
will say my second favorite concert was actually in Denver. I went to the Red Rocks Amphitheater and saw
Yep.
Lord Huron. Yeah.
Okay, you got some great music taste too. They're pretty good.
So
Yeah,
that
yeah.
was a
Okay.
it was a first date with my current boyfriend and it was very magical and yeah, I mean it was great. We had a great time. I have always liked Lord Huron because his obviously his songs were like in 13 Reasons Why and he's definitely got a voice that is very theatrical, I feel like it's probably why his stuff is used so often in film. But
Mhm.
it was fun to see him live in person because it definitely wasn't on my bucket list of going to see him in person, but once I saw him in person, now I would love to go again.
I love it. I love it. Okay, I would definitely say states Denver. Out of
Hmm.
country, Jamaica. That was my favorite place to go to with Jamaica. I recently went on a cruise on my dad's side of the family, and we went to Mexico, Cozumel, Cayman Islands, Bahamas, and then Jamaica as well. I'm actually going on another cruise. This one's going to be a solo single slash couples cruise. Some people have couples, some people are going singles, but it's going to be to Greece. So I'm going to be heading to Greece next June, and just enjoying my time. And I'm looking for a second cruise to go on later in
Yeah.
the year. I just don't know which one yet.
So funny story, my parents eloped in Jamaica and then my sister eloped to Greece. So both of those
Oh,
places are amazing.
okay. Well, listen, you can give me some tips and some pointers about Greece, and let me know what I'm doing because outside of Greek food, I don't know what else I'm gonna be doing out there in Greece. But I do know we got to fly into Athens. I do. Yeah, I believe it's Athens, Greece,
Mhm.
that we got to fly into. So I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to that next June for sure.
I'll
For
call my
sure.
sister. She'll tell you all about it.
That's what's up. I'm looking forward to that 411, Molly. I'm looking forward to it. Okay, here we go. I'm a sport person. You a sport person. So, favorite sport you like to watch on TV. Favorite sport you like to attend in person. They could be the same sport.
Hockey.
Okay.
For
Okay.
both. Yeah, 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 definitely for both. The energy of a hockey game. I mean, I also like to attend basketball in person, but I will say like football, I don't have a preference for football. I'll watch wherever, but I definitely think hockey, the energy of being in the arena and like
Hmm.
fight breaks out or there's just tension on the ice. That's fun. It's also fun to watch on TV, but hockey is 1000% my most entertaining sport.
Now you're in California. Like I said, I'm from San Diego,
Mhm.
California. So I was used to always watching the goals, which was down there at the sports arena where I grew up, and now they have a different name for that arena now. But I was also a huge Kings fan growing up as well as our only professional team or closest. Well, I wouldn't say closest because we had Anaheim too, Anaheim Ducks. But what is a team in California that you root for? Well, where in California are you?
So I'm in Los Angeles. I'm a huge Dallas Stars fan. That's like because I was born there. I think Dallas just has a big place in my heart, and the Stars are just awesome. It's my brother actually played for like a minor league, and he actually ended up playing for the Junior Stars at one point. So we're big Stars fans. But I will go. Funny enough, my very first lead in a movie that I ever booked was a women's hockey movie.
Hmm.
And our technical advisor works for the Kings. So I've had a lot of very good King game treatment.
Hmm.
I've gotten the princess treatment going to the Kings games. It's been very fun. But I will if Dallas isn't playing, I'll root for the Kings just because I'm there and it's my local team. But if Dallas is there, gotta wear my green.
Now, are you going to go to a Dallas, LA Kings game when they come there?
Well, so they came a few weeks ago and I was out of town, funny enough. I wasn't even there. But I think next season I will definitely be attending that one. Because the
Okay.
last season they came in March and I was actually not in town either for that game, which has been really disappointing. But I'm jealous because my brother goes to the actual Dallas games all the time. That's something I would love to be in Dallas at the American Airlines Arena. I would love to see Dallas play at home at some point in my life.
Absolutely. I have family in Texas as well, but it's Houston, Texas. My older brother lives there, so have a lot of fondness for the state of Texas, except them damn tolls. Y'all got a lot of tolls out there in Texas. The only thing that was like, oh my gosh, like what is going on? But
Well,
other
you
than
gotta
that,
get their tax money somewhere with no income tax, you know?
tell me about it, because I'm like, Lord have mercy. It's really big with the two, especially the two airports in Houston. Texas is big for sure, but the tolls is just the only thing that was like, oh my gosh. But everything else, the food, the atmosphere, the sports, the culture, I love it. I loved it. So love my time there in Texas as
Yeah,
always. Okay,
everything's
that's what's
here in
up.
Texas. Yeah.
That's what they say, right? For sure. Last of the favorites. Favorite place you like to eat at? Now, I'm very fond of Los Angeles, so I know there's some very good places. One of my favorites is Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles. I'm sure you know about that one. Nobu, I'm sure you know about that one. But tell me a place that you like to eat at.
I'll give you two because I think like one for like a late night, like side of the road type meal is definitely street tacos. I mean, there's
Yeah.
pretty much good street tacos, especially down in like the Boyle Heights area or there's really, really good street tacos on the east side of LA for sure. If I'm going to like a nice celebration dinner or like let's say like an anniversary or something really special, I love Bevel. It's downtown. It's probably the nicest Mediterranean spot you can find. Just and
Okay.
it's overall, it's not just the food, it's the experience. Like the wait staff is so friendly, like from walking into the hostess to being sat down at the bar or wherever you are. I mean, I have celiac, so my bartender was like, "Oh, what can't you have? Any food allergies?" I told her she came out and around the bar, took a red Sharpie to her menu and marked out what I could and couldn't eat and like was like, this is what I recommend." I mean, she was above and beyond. I have yet to go back since that time, but I just will say it's so good and it's worth the money. Like I think it's very expensive, but it's worth it.
I feel that. So what you said celiac? Can you explain to me what that is?
So basically my body doesn't digest gluten like at
Mhm.
all. So the last time I had gluten, I actually ended up breaking out in hives. So
Oh,
I avoid bread at all costs.
absolutely, no
Um,
question.
yeah, just for many, many reasons. But yeah, overall I am gluten free. I basically ate like a paleo style diet is pretty much what
Yeah.
I'm on. But
Okay.
I still eat a lot and a lot of steak. There's a lot of steak in my diet, so that's exciting.
Yeah, it's always good to get that protein in you, no question about it. So, and I love the way you make your steaks. You said medium rare. So,
Yeah.
and to me, I didn't never used to eat it like that, Molly. I used to always eat it well done and put a lot of sauce on it.
Mm.
And if you make it medium rare, though, you don't have to put all that sauce on it. It's the juices are just mwah, they're just so good. So I love it.
And if it's cooked right, you got to let it rest before you put it in the pan. You've got to cook it in good oil. You have to baste it correctly. Then you have to let it rest again. But
Hmm.
when you make a steak and you make it well, it's so good. Like anytime I go to a restaurant and I have like a mediocre steak, I'm kind of upset because I'm like, I could have made this better at home. It would have been cheaper. This is kind of dumb. But yeah, I love steak. I think it's so good. And it's definitely my go-to. Like I actually for a while was eating steak for breakfast. I was doing like a 6 ounce sirloin with like 2 eggs, feta cheese, and an avocado. It was so good. I think total, it was like 64 grams of protein first thing in the morning.
Wow. Wow.
It
Okay.
felt amazing. I was so energized. So I definitely in the new year will probably get back to that type of life. I've just been so busy traveling and working.
I understand that. Fun fact before I get to the next question, I never had avocado. Never. Never had, yeah,
What?
I've never had, yeah, never had avocado.
Why?
Uh, I've seen it so many times. I've just never tried it. I'm a person that I've never had coffee. Yeah, never had coffee in my life. People ask me, what do you drink when you get up? And I typically get a glass of water or maybe some chocolate milk. I like chocolate milk a lot. And then also my juices, which is pineapple and grape, and cranberry. Those are the three main ones that I drink. I I don't know what's been going on with me ever since like a month and a half ago. I've been really on a kick with pineapple juice. I've just been
Yeah.
drinking that. So
So like
I really,
no caffeine?
um, at times I may have a Mountain Dew,
Mm,
not much. I gotta have some caffeine sometime because when you're on the go and you're
yeah.
going, working several different jobs because that's what I do. I substitute teach, I work in sales, and I'm also a freelance journalist. So I do all three. And sometimes when you're on the go, you don't have time to kind of make meals, so you kind of got to get meals. So
Mm,
I just try to, whenever I am out, water, try to get enough water in me, at least 8 cups, so at least 64 ounces a day. I try to do that. And then I also, if I need some caffeine, I'll get like just a regular can of Mountain Dew. And that's what I try. So
yeah. That's so surprising. I don't think I've ever met somebody that's not like a kid that's never tried coffee or just tried coffee. I've met a
yeah.
lot of people that don't like coffee and they prefer tea or soda or whatever. But never somebody that just has never you've never wanted to try or
No, I mean I've been to many Starbucks, and out here in Minnesota we have a place called Caribou.
yeah,
And
no,
you
no.
know we
My hockey movie was filmed in Minnesota and I went to Caribou every day.
Oh, so you already know. So yeah,
Yeah,
we
yeah,
definitely did that, and I would go there, but I would get smoothies
yeah,
instead of coffee, or I would get tea instead of coffee. I like cold tea. I'm not really a huge hot tea type of person, but I like cold drinks.
yeah,
But it's crazy because my whole family drinks coffee, every
yeah.
single one of them, on my dad's side and my mom's side. But yeah, I just never had the urge to do it.
Yeah. No, I love it. I had 2 cups this morning.
I feel that. Okay, girl, do your thing. I love that. All right. Well, that's a great segue because now I want to talk to you about your day to day.
Mhm.
As an actress, I'm sure your day to day is never the same, right? You got
Nope.
all kinds of things going on. Scripts, agents is probably hitting you up with different commercials, different scripts of movies. And then you also filming the Sessiestuff with your
Hmm.
girl. And you guys got to try to find times every single week because your schedules are so just different. All four of you have different schedules. So it's kind of hard sometimes to pin down days and times to be able to do that. Talk to
Yeah.
me about a day to day in the life of Molly, of what you do. When do you start? When do you end? How many scripts or commercials do you get a chance to do a week?
Yeah.
Yeah, just talk to me about that.
I mean, it like you just said, it changes every day. It just depends on the week. Sometimes we're slower, sometimes we're busier. I will say today really isn't a day off. We'll just count tomorrow as my first day off. Today was technically my first day off in 33 days. Um,
Wow.
yeah, definitely has been a rough month for me. I've worked nonstop. Because I also kind of like you will randomly I'm a workaholic. I've always had like 4 jobs at a time. It's just I thrive when I'm busy.
Mhm.
And this last month, I took on like a side job of helping a production office move. And
Oh,
the producer is a really good friend of my manager, and it was super aligned. And I love the producer; he's great. And so, we moved a whole production office, which was a lot of stuff. We
sure,
had to do a
absolutely.
lot of work, yeah. So, when I was doing that, I was working, 10:30 to 7 every day with him, just getting things aligned and moved and also looking for new spaces. And so that was crazy because I was still also doing auditions and Sussy stuff and all this other stuff. So basically the last, 4 weeks, I have been getting up at 5 a.m. and filming for Sessie stuff with Emma because she's East Coast time.
Yep.
So we normally meet, anywhere between 8:30 and 9 a.m. Eastern. So that's, 5:30 to 6 a.m. Pacific. I will get up, I'll do that. And then normally I pretty much have an audition almost every day, if not every other day, whether it's a commercial or a movie or a TV. Like today I had a movie, a commercial, and a TV show that I auditioned for this morning. Um, and that's all self-tape. So it's great because I'm home and I can, do it from here. I have had a lot of in-person auditions as well, so it just kind of depends on the week. But today in particular, I got up, I did those auditions, and then when I was working for the production office and Ceci, I was basically I would have like 30 minutes to either eat or take a nap. So depending on how my day was or how tired I was, I would choose either or. And then I would get on
Mhm.
the road and go to the production office and then come home and, do invoices and emails and other things that I had. Um, so the last month was really busy for me, which I'm so grateful for because, coming off of a strike and a pandemic, like busy is better for everybody.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it feels nice. I was by this week I was a little tired. I was like, I think I'm ready for a break. So I'm thankful to be going home and just taking like 2 full weeks to relax.
That's pretty awesome. That's pretty cool. Recently I've been talking to a lot of different actresses and actors and mainly voiceover people who
Hmm.
do voiceovers and commercials and stuff like that. And I recently had my first audition for that.
Hmm.
Yeah, so there was well, I should say like a casting call, maybe not an audition, but we got on a Zoom and there was a person that was reading everybody's name, checking everybody in. They gave me a script, which was a Pringles pizza crust script that I had to read. And they put us off in certain groups of the room, and I read it. And the guy asked me two questions, and he was like, "Okay, I want to call you back." He said, "If you're still in this room, and it was only two of us left, that means you're getting a call back." And I
Amazing.
was like, "Oh, okay." It was my first time, Molly, ever reading anything. And he was
Mhm.
like, "You have one of those unique kind of voices, my man." And I was
I was
like,
gonna say you definitely have a good voice.
"Thank you so much, Molly. I appreciate it." I was like, I was just reading, sir. I mean, I was just trying to read it as and make it entertaining. I mean, it's Pringles pizza crust. So how entertaining can it, like we're talking about pizza crust and chips and stuff like that. But I wanted to be as entertaining as possible and do that. And I
Yeah.
was like, you know what? That's something I could possibly do. I could see myself doing it. I don't know if I would want to do it full time, but I definitely would love to do something like that, like maybe be a narrator for an audiobook or something like that.
Huh.
Which is a great segue again, because I want to ask you about advice. What is some advice that you would give someone that wants to be an actress or actor in this industry, right? This is a tough industry to be in. But what is some advice that you would give someone that wants to start out in this business?
As a voiceover or like just an actor in general?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, just an actor in general, voiceover or like somebody that goes on auditions like yourself.
Yeah. Um, I would say be open-minded at the beginning. Kind of figure out what you want to do. I think it all is mindset, so figuring out what you want to do. And once you know what you want to do, I would try to really, really, really be specific about that genre or that particular niche that you want. And so, which is something I've recently been learning about myself is like throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing what sticks only works for like the first little bit of the career. You kind of get to see which one you like and which one you don't like and what works better for you and your reel and your resume. And then afterwards, I think you have to get really, really specific about what you want to do and where your goals are. And I would say have a goal sheet, like always be, on to the next thing. And yeah, don't take things personal. Don't take
Mm,
things personal because sometimes you'll be like I was on hold for this amazing commercial that I really wanted to do. It was shooting out of the country and I was really excited. And they just kept putting me on, like I was still on hold for weeks. And then at the end of the day, they ended up not even making the commercial because the media team was so far behind on projects. So it had nothing to do with me. It had nothing to do with my skills or my capabilities.
right.
Didn't take it personally. But I will say 3 years ago when I started, I probably would have been on the floor sobbing, like, oh, I can't believe they like canceled the commercial. Like I used to take things really personally, and now it's like maybe the casting director loves you and the producers just don't. Yeah, nothing personal in this business. It's strictly business. And as much as it sucks because it's like the only business that you can like legally discriminate and just push to the side, like it does suck, but it is also what I want to do and what I want to pursue. And it just, you can't, beggars can't be choosers. So,
Absolutely. No, I really love that last piece of advice. I love all the advice, but the last piece is definitely don't take it personal. It
mm-hmm,
definitely parallels with trying to be in the journalism field.
mm-hmm,
Because a lot of people sign up for different jobs and apply. You get more no's than you get yeses. And I'm
mm-hmm.
sure you've received more no's than yeses in your field as well in media, where
Yeah.
people are like, why didn't I get chosen? Why? I thought this job was for me. Or they look at somebody that they may see on TV or may see acting in a role, be like, well, I can do that. Why I'm not there? Kind of second guessing themselves. And you just
Mm-hmm,
cannot take it personal. You really can't. Sometimes you're just not people's cup of tea. And it's okay. All you need is one yes. Once you get that yes, then other people, you show what you can do, and then other people will see, and then you'll get more and more and more opportunities. So I really love that last piece of advice. And I want to ask you about mental health though and work
mm-hmm,
life balance
mm-hmm.
because in this industry, there's people that sometimes talk about mental health and talk about burnout. Sometimes feel like they're overworked and underpaid. And I'm sure you've had actresses in the that you've known or actors have had to step away sometimes because of their mental health, or just people in other occupational jobs as well. I know I've had journalists step away for that reason, right? Work life balance. Sometimes work gets very tough. Like you said, you just work 33 straight days. That could
Mm-hmm.
be tough on somebody
Yeah.
that's not used to that or doesn't really understand, the impact of that. So talk to me about how you keep your mental health strong, Molly, and how you keep your work life balance. Because, like you said, you have family that you're going to see, you got friends, you got a significant other. That's a
Mm-hmm.
lot to balance, and you're trying to do a career as well. So, talk to me about
Well, I'm lying if I say it's perfect. It's like, wow, I could just spend so much time with my significant other and my family, and I have the best of all worlds because I don't.
that. Sure.
That's such a false lie. Um, I think like the biggest piece of advice too for anybody getting into this business and like wanting to, because you kind of have to like live broke for a long time before you start like actually seeing like money and that can be really hard. And also it can take a toll on somebody being told no every day, like multiple times a day,
Right.
you're being told no, or you're just
Right.
not the right fit, or we went a different direction, or like it just that does start to take a toll on you. I think for me, it's really having a foundation, and like my foundation is obviously my faith and like my relationship with God. Like that is actually something that is really big in my life and it's priority. Um,
Okay.
every night before bed, no matter how tired I am, I do have a devotional and I do go back to that. And it's kind of like my way to decompress. And
Sure.
also staying physically active is really important for me. So just taking a 30-minute walk every day is really, really important. And I can make a phone call on that walk if I needed to, or which I do like to do. I know some people want to walk and just kind of block it all out, but I do like to walk and talk to people. And sometimes there's silent days where I just walk alone and I don't call anybody and it's very quiet and peaceful.
Yep. Yep.
But I think staying physically, motivated and then also having like a foundation, like whatever that is for you. Mine is definitely like my faith journey. I make it a priority that I'm at church, I'm in a small group, I have a devotional every day. Because I think that's also the kicker is like we choose our priorities and like if you choose to make work your number one priority, that's fine. But you also have to realize that the priority also will take a toll a little bit. So you have
Yeah.
to have like you have to choose your priorities right because I feel
Agreed.
like Jesus has never really taken a toll on me personally. So I'm like that'll just be my number one priority because then it's like
Right.
very
Right.
rewarding and it's tough at times, but obviously, but then, I'm not so fully reliant on like having that gratification of, oh, I booked this job or oh, I did this. Like that's actually recently been my prayer is like I'm constantly like God just like make me humble. Like just like I don't ever want to get wrapped up in like the world of like making a ton of money or like luxury items. Like I just that's not what I want, not what I see for my future. And so just like continually praying that. So I do think it's important to take breaks and to step away. And normally when people do take a break and they step away, they do find a foundation. And then
Right.
when they come back, it's interesting because you find your foundation and you end up booking work. Like it's, and I'm not saying this is like a magician, but I think when you are able to step away and look at it from an outsider perspective and kind of regain your priorities and you go into it very specific about like this is what I want. Nine
Right.
times out of 10, that's when people start booking. I can't tell you how many actors I know that are like, "Psh, I was gonna quit, but then I booked this reoccurring role on a TV show, you know? So there's all this in the air, and I think it's really up to each person, but I think having like a foundation is really important.
Absolutely. Boundaries must be set.
Hmm.
No question about that. Anytime that you're talking about work and mental health and just for your mental psyche, right? Like you said, you have a strong foundation with your faith in the Lord, and you're not going to jeopardize that relationship for no kind of work or anything at all. You know that anything that you do work wise, yeah, it's a blessing, but it has to be an understanding as well that I'm not going to jeopardize my foundation, which is the same with myself in the journalism field. I would love to cover the Super Bowl. I would love to cover all these wonderful events and things, and I've covered some really cool events. I know the one thing that I would do want to be eventually, I want to have a family. I definitely would love to have.
Same.
I definitely love to be a dad, whether it's
Hmm.
girl dad, boy dad, doesn't matter. I would love to be a dad, and I would love to have a family, and I'm not going to jeopardize that no
Hmm.
matter how much I love sports journalism, and I love it to the core. There's no
Yeah.
question about it.
Well,
But
because at the end of the day, we all die, and
we
who's
do.
really with you in your last 10 to 20 years? It's not like your corporate job or your acting job or any of those
Right.
jobs. And I also think like when, we put so much, it's kind of even like if you're not religious or any of those, it's kind of one of
Oh
those
yeah.
things. Like, if you put all of your priority in making a ton of money, it's this obsessive um can become a little bit of a narcissistic behavior. And so then it's
Sure.
hard because then it's like, okay, well, I value money so much beyond anything else, any relationship that I have, any family member, any other job opportunity. This is like what I value.
Hmm.
But money doesn't do anything for us other than just a tool to live. And
Right.
so I think that's so important is having, a foundation of like, okay, I'm gonna die someday. My job doesn't care that I'm gonna die someday, like at all. But my kids will, and my grandkids
Right.
will, and my parents
Right.
will, and like my family does. And so I think that's really the most important thing in life is like, okay, and also what example are you setting for that family? Like, do you want
Without question.
your kids that work comes first above them and above, what they need and your needs and your partner, like your marriage needs? Like that's so important in a lifetime. So yeah, I think having a foundation and honestly, when you look at people who have really, really strong foundations, everybody struggles with mental health, but I will say I think it's significantly less than people who don't really have like a rock solid foundation. I feel like they're just like they're throwing spaghetti at the wall and they're like, wait, what do I do? And I know that because I've been there. Like I've been that person. So
Yep.
once you really like nail it down, things get easier.
No question about it. I love that. Molly, we've came to the portion of the podcast now that we're going to do the interactive game called This or That. So basically, what that is I'm going to throw some things at you, and you get to choose this or that. So, Molly, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Do you like chicken? I just want to start off by saying that. Do you like chicken?
Love,
Okay,
yeah.
here we go. So, which chicken place are you choosing to eat at? Is it Popeyes or KFC?
Popeyes.
Girl, you on point like a period. I like that. I like that. Okay, here we go. We
That was
starting off real good. We starting off good. Here we go. Chicken wing flavors now. Barbecue on lemon pepper. Which one you putting on chicken?
barbecue.
Okay. Wet or dry with the wings?
Dry.
Okay. Bone in or boneless?
Boneless.
Oh, so you going against the grain a little bit. You know what they say about boneless wings?
I do. I do.
Okay, that's all right. That's all right. Listen, Molly,
Yeah.
you stand on it. Okay, all 10 toes. You stand on it. That's all what it is. Okay, I love it. Now, these next four questions have to do with music concerts that you rather go to. So here we go.
Okay.
Which music concert would you rather go to? Kendrick Lamar or Drake?
Kendrick Lamar.
That's what I'm talking about. That is what I'm talking about. Okay, here we go. Which music concert would you rather go to? Chris Brown or Usher?
Usher.
Okay, I like that.
Hmm.
Which music concert would you rather go to? Megan Thee Stallion or Cardi B?
Cardi B.
Ooh, okay, okay. I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that. All right, here we go. All right, which music concert would you rather go to? Would you rather go to Lotto or SZA?
SZA.
Okay. Oh, you said that was some emphasis. Okay. Do
SZA.
okay? Do we like some SZA?
Love SZA.
Okay. Okay. So are you going to be going to the Kendrick Lamar SZA tour when it comes out there?
If I can get tickets that don't cost an arm and a leg, absolutely.
Well, listen, you went to the Eras tour for Taylor Swift. You can't talk about tickets costing an arm and a leg. Now, them tickets
I
expensive.
was I was fan verified, so my tickets were not expensive. I'm so much I was fan verified. I'm a Swiftie.
Oh my goodness. Okay. I feel that. I feel that. You are an original Swifty. So that means that yeah, you got the discount for real for real. So I feel
Swiftie.
that.
No. Fear.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, hello. Yeah.
Love it. I love it. That's what's up. Okay. So here we go. Which Texas player would you rather pick? If you had one game to pick on, which Texas player would you rather pick? Would you rather pick not Cole Beasley, Ricky Williams or Colt McCoy?
Colt McCoy.
Ooh, okay. All right. I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that.
McCoy.
Which sport would you rather play? Badminton or bowling?
Bowling.
Are you a good bowler?
I am. I'm a really good bowler, actually.
Okay. We're going to have to put that to the test now because I'm a good bowler too. I'm pretty competitive, Molly. Just saying
Same.
that. Okay. Say less. You ain't got to say no more. Here we go. All right. Do you like desserts?
Yeah.
Okay, listen, you'd be surprised. There's
Love
people out there
sweet.
that be like, they ain't with it. But I'm glad you are. I'm gonna name four categories of desserts. You get to choose one of these categories that you'll never eat again. Okay,
Oh, okay.
here we go. First one is cookies. The next one is cake slash pies. The third one is gonna be candy. The last one is gonna be ice cream. Which one are you getting rid of?
I will happily get rid of candy as long as I can have like cake, ice cream, and what was the first one?
Cookies.
Cookies. Yeah, chocolate chip cookies and like a scoop of vanilla ice cream. I don't eat candy.
Molly, we're gonna be besties. You're gonna be the best friend out there, girl. I'm trying to tell you. When it
Mhm.
comes to food, I'm down with you. I'm with you on that. Okay.
Exactly. Or like a
Super.
molten lava cake. Oh, so good.
Oh Lord, I should know what that is, but I don't. What is that?
It's well, traditionally they were at Chili's, but it's the chocolate cake, and in the middle it's like hot lava. It's like fudge and chocolatey, like it melts, and then you put a scoop of vanilla ice cream on top. So you dive into it, and it breaks the lava, and it's like a mountain of lava coming out of your chocolate cake.
Now I like something like that. Red velvet is actually my favorite cake, but I definitely like something like that. That's pretty
Yeah,
good.
yeah,
Okay. Here we go. Do you like potato chips?
yeah.
Okay. Same format, but I'm naming four brands. You got to get rid of one of these that you will never eat again. So here we go. Pringles is the first one. Doritos is the second one. Lay's is the third one. And Ruffles is the last one. Which one are you getting rid of that you'll never eat again?
Doritos?
Oh, hell no. No, you
Actually,
won't.
no. Get rid of Pringles. Keep, because I love Ruffles. I love the cheddar sour cream Ruffles. That's like my favorite chip. And then I also
Okay.
like the kettle cooked barbecue chips from Lay's.
You know, you're the second person that has been on here in probably as many weeks that has said about these kettle cooked barbecue mesquite Lay's chips corn. That had all these names with those chips that really likes them. And I'm like, I was with you when you said the rough. Don't get me wrong, Molly. Girl,
Mhm.
you was on point like a period. Once again, I was like, cool. But then you said the kettle chips, and I tried kettle chips. Let's
You
just
don't
say
like them?
no, I was disappointed. I was disappointed.
I
Uh,
also like the baked barbecue too. The
okay.
baked Lay's. I liked the baked Lay's.
I'll
And
get
then
down with you on that.
like Cool Ranch Doritos. I'm not a big nacho Dorito girl. I like the Cool Ranch ones.
I'm with you on that too. I am. Now, when you make a sandwich, for me, that's turkey, chicken, or steak, either one. Do you put your chips in the middle and crush them and eat them, or do you eat them on the side?
I used to put them on the middle and crush them. Now I just eat them on the side. But I'm not picky about it. I could go either way.
Okay, I'm with you on that. I like that. You listen, you did very good on this or that. You are a terrific. Only thing with the kettle corn chips, barbecue lays, baked mesquite. That's the only chips that ain't it. But other than everything else, you was on point. I like that. Let's talk a little college football playoff, shall we?
Let's
We
do it.
got the Texas Longhorns that's going to be hosting those Clemson Tigers. Now, obviously, there was some debate between your girls and the committee saying that Clemson and Alabama should definitely been Clemson should have been out, Alabama should have been in. That was the whole discussion. Now, I'm gonna give you my take on it. My take was pretty simple. Alabama did it to themselves. When they lost to Oklahoma, they was out. I didn't think they had a chance. When they didn't make it to the SEC, at least championship game, they was out. Because you knew Texas and Georgia was both going to make it. However, there has been some controversy about your Texas team because they've only lost to one team all season, which was Georgia, but it's some controversy saying they ain't really beat nobody in their 11 wins. Now, I've heard that too. What do you think first about your matchup with the Clemson Tigers, and then two about that notion that Texas really didn't beat anybody or play anybody this season?
Um, so I think the Clemson Tigers should not be in the playoffs. This still doesn't, I know that there's weird rules with the CFP, I get that, but like it just I'm not a Bama fan. Honestly, screw Bama. I'm not a Bama fan at all. I don't like them. I have no interest in ever being a Bama fan. It actually makes me nauseous that I'm working with women that are Bama fans.
Right.
My best friend Georgia, unfortunately, is a Bama fan.
Yep, she is.
It constantly causes a rift between us. But they would have deserved, in my opinion, the playoffs more than Clemson. Yeah, Clemson doesn't really make sense. I don't know why they're there. And especially, me and Emma talked about it on this week's episode, previewing the Texas game. I would say Texas and Georgia are very similar team-wise, stat-wise. They're very similar talent-wise. Um, Georgia beat Clemson by like 30 points.
They
So
did.
I don't think Clemson's gonna win this game with Texas at all. 'Cause if we're just comparing talent level, it's not looking good for them. Um, but I will say I think Texas did lose. I'm not gonna sit here and say they haven't lost a game because that's not true. They lost
Mm-hmm.
twice to Georgia. Both times were very aggravating as a fan. This
Sure.
time, Texas has had some inconsistencies on their offensive side. Quinn Ewers definitely has some issues playing in the really big spotlight, which I think I'm not Quinn Ewers. I've never been under a spotlight so big. I'm sure it's definitely a lot of pressure.
Sure.
Going into the pros, though, you kind of have to be able to handle the pressure of that. I mean, look at like somebody like Patrick Mahomes or Tom Brady. Like those guys played in how many Super Bowls and they didn't crack under
Hmm.
pressure. So
Hmm.
I think it's really important. And I think it's more of a mental thing for Quinn Ewers than it is physical. I think he's physically probably the best quarterback in the SEC. I think he's an amazing quarterback. I think he's going to have a really long career. But I do think they lost to Georgia, and it was really unfortunate. Ewers also was not the one who missed those field goals last week. So
Yeah, that's
yeah.
true.
Yeah, that's definitely, it's not all yours fault. I don't like the fact that people are coming after Quinn. Like, that's also not fair. But I'm a huge Manning fan. I was actually named after a Manning boy in the first place. And so, my
Hmm.
family are big Manning fans. So I'm really excited to see Arch Manning. Maybe he'll get some playing time with Clemson. And then I think he'll probably obviously, he's going to be a starter next year, but I'm sure he's going to get some more playing time in the rest of the playoffs.
Yeah, I truthfully think Clemson does have a chance.
Hmm.
Flight, flight chance. Don't get me wrong. I don't think there's going to be. The problem is Quinn, like you mentioned to me, uh, Quinn Ewers, is that how you say his last name? I always get his last name.
Hmm.
Ewers, right? Okay. To me, he's been inconsistent.
Hmm.
And he, like you said, under the bright lights, he just hasn't really performed up to his best capabilities like he can.
Hmm.
I do think Texas is a very good team, though, but I think Clemson, to me, is also a team that's been, um, I don't want to say tested, but has a coach that knows about the playoffs, that knows about that. And Sark does too, don't get me wrong. But I definitely think that game could be closer than what people may think. Because a lot of people are saying Texas is going to rattle and blow them out. I just think that Texas will win. I just think it'll be close. And what I mean by close, maybe a 10-point game,
Yeah.
uh, something like that. 10 points. I don't see it being
I
like,
mean, they're favored by 11 and a half points. So that's basically what you're saying, very similar.
yeah, close to it. So most people that I've talked to said it's going to be greater than 11. And it could be. It could. I just think that the argument was Bama or SMU. I thought SMU did enough to get in. With even with their two losses of
Great.
losing in the berth, I thought they did enough, and I'm glad that the committee did it. I am not a Bama hater, but you also have to look at, okay, yes, they played in the SEC, which is the toughest division. We get that. They do have three top 25 wins. I get that as well. Clemson does not have those three top 25 wins. But you also have to take into account that Clemson earned the right because they played more games than Bama. They have more wins. I couldn't see a team 9-3. Any team under 10 wins, I couldn't see them in the playoffs because you
No.
don't have any team under 10 wins in there.
Yeah.
I just couldn't see that. I do think I don't know how. This is the one thing I think, Molly, that should change. I don't know how the hell Arizona State jumps up 11 spots. That's insane. That was insane to do that. Because they jumped up a whole lot. They went from being out of the playoffs because I think both Big 12 teams the week before was out of the 12.
Hmm.
And then one of the Big 12 teams won, and they jumped up to a bye. And I was like, whoa, that's what do you think about that? Am I like crazy for saying that?
The CFP rankings really confuse me every week. Like I actually I don't quite understand the science behind how they get the rankings and where they are.
Sure.
Um, you know, Georgia at one point dropped. I think who did they lose to? They lost to
Ole Miss was it Ole
Ole
Miss they
Miss.
lost to?
Yeah, and they dropped to like number 11 and
Yep.
then they beat Texas and then they're back at number 2. Like they jumped up 10 spots. It just there's some of these rankings. I like I said, I don't know the science behind it. I'm not I don't work for the CFP. I have no idea. I
Right.
also don't know
Right.
who makes those decisions.
Right.
I don't know if they're biased.
Mhm.
I'm sure some, mathematician is doing it. Um, the AP rankings also don't make as much sense to me either. But I will say the Big 12, in my opinion, was not great this year. So I'm interested
Oh,
to see how they do. And yeah, most of their teams just were not great. So the fact that and I understand, everybody has a certain amount of slots in the playoffs, but I definitely think there were more SEC teams that could have made the playoffs, in my opinion. Just looking at the entire map of the country and looking at the losses versus wins. Um,
Mhm.
I like you said, I don't understand why ASU was able to jump almost 10 spots. It's crazy.
Yeah, based upon one win, especially when they were out of the playoffs, out of the
Yeah.
12, that seemed like a little crazy to me. If the one thing that I probably would change is let's get rid of the automatic bids. I
Mhm.
don't like the automatic bids.
Yeah.
Because if you did that, going by the logic that we're talking about here, there probably would have been another SEC team in there. Now, I do think without the automatic bids, Alabama has a great shot. But see,
Yeah.
but that also takes care of South Carolina and Ole Miss
Hmm.
because South Carolina lost to Alabama. So you certainly can't jump South Carolina over Alabama. You can't do that. And South Carolina also lost to Ole Miss, which you can't jump them either. So Ole Miss and Bama didn't play each other. But if you look at the losses between Ole Miss and Bama, you got to put Bama above Ole Miss. I believe Ole Miss lost to a Kentucky team that finished pretty bad
Hmm.
in the season, and they lost to them at home. Alabama was actually undefeated at home, so that was it's crazy how they go about it because every year is different. So you can't do it the same way every single year. It's like the previous year they left a 13-0 Florida State team out. Florida State is obviously irate. They won every game. They did what they were supposed to do. But if you're going off the best four teams, they had just lost their starting quarterback. So
Right.
I don't know how you can put them in the four best teams with the starting quarterback not there, and it showed because they got the brakes beat off of them in their bowl game.
Yeah.
So it just varies every year. It's never going to be the same, no matter how much teams they expand it to. It's never going to be the same every single year.
Yeah.
Um, I do think Greg Sankey, or that might be the AD of, is that the SEC person over SEC, Greg Sankey, or the AD of Alabama? That's the where I was getting to. He was talking about how he's not going to book certain games, and it's like, sir, it's not about the games that you're booking. You just can't you can't have those style points of losses. They were looking at the losses this year more so than anything else. Um, the losses and wins. I don't know why they did that. The committee did that, but they took into account the 24-3 loss. They took into account that Vanderbilt
Hmm.
scored the most points against Georgia's, not Georgia, but Alabama's defense. I mean, Vanderbilt didn't even touch 30 for the rest of the year. They went three or
Yeah.
four their last 7 games after they played Alabama.
I If you like looking at your bracket, like who do you see going to the national champion?
You gotta say Oregon. I think Oregon has a pretty good chance. I mean, obviously, looking at the first 4 games, the game of the week, in my opinion, is going to be Tennessee Ohio State.
Yep.
That's going to be a really good game down there in Columbus. Whoever wins that will give Oregon a run for their money. That's for sure. But also Georgia probably has the best path because I don't see them leaving the Southeast. If I'm not mistaken, they get a bye, then they go to New Orleans and then
Mhm.
play in the Sugar Bowl. If I'm not mistaken, that's the venue that they picked, which they're very familiar with that because they played in the Sugar Bowl a lot of times. It's not that far. So I think Oregon and Georgia find a way to get to the national championship, and we're gonna have a good. But what worries me about Georgia is their quarterback. Is he
Yeah.
ready? Because now the starting quarterback of Georgia is now out. Is that true freshman ready? Because he's going to have to get ready. There's a lot of really talented teams. I think Arizona State, whoever plays them first, they're going to be upset. I think they're one and done, in my opinion. Whoever they play next, they're going to get beat. Boise State, Boise State, boy, they got a solid team, but um, if I'm not mistaken, they played a 6-11 matchup. They play whoever plays that 6-11. I might be wrong, but they're gonna. I think they advance, but I don't think they get there. I really do think Oregon and Georgia will be the 2 teams. What about yourself?
I wouldn't be shocked if we see a Texas Georgia matchup again, if I'm being honest. I don't know though, because if Texas plays Oregon, I when they do, because they're most likely going to play Oregon. That's going to be, I think, the game of the year, honestly. Like, screw the national championship. You're looking at these two teams that have been in the top, two or three the whole season. I mean, that's insane. Oregon's probably, they're number one right now, obviously.
Yeah.
Um, so I think that would be a really interesting game. I think that's going to be the game of the year. Um, but the likelihood, looking at the stats of this being a Texas-Georgia matchup again, kind of crazy, but could happen. And I would be interested in seeing that happen again because, third time's the charm, guys. Third.
Sure. I know you would. As a hardcore Texas fan, I know you would, no doubt. Um,
But the Oregon game could, yeah, we'll have to check back.
so the 5-12 matchup, if I'm not mistaken, the winner of that gets Arizona State, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong with that, but the game I think that could be a potential game is because I truly think um is a rematch of the
Mhm.
Oregon Ohio State game. I think that game could be another classic between those two teams. Um, Oregon Ohio State, but I also think don't sleep on Boise State and possibly Penn State too. I think that game could be really interesting between those two teams, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Yeah, I think Boise State obviously has an amazing offensive line. So I think Boise State is definitely a tough one because like if your defense isn't on it, Lord only knows.
They're
If
gonna
you
run the ball down your throat. That's for sure. You expect the guy to get about 20, 25 carries.
exactly
For sure. I like
exactly.
that. I do.
Yeah, so I
Okay.
think it's gonna be a good playoff season for sure.
Absolutely. We're gonna be staying tuned. That's for sure. If it wasn't acting, Molly, what career path would you have chosen to do and why?
I said at the beginning I really wanted to be a nurse midwife just because I love I'm really passionate about women's health care and socializing it more so than making it so big pharma-y. I don't know. I think women's healthcare is really important, and I think unfortunately insurance covers one, your one visit per year to your OBGYN is considered your women's healthcare, and I think that's kind of crazy. So, I definitely would have been a midwife if I wouldn't have been doing this.
I love that. I could totally see you doing that too. I think you would be terrific at that for sure. I would love to be in theater if I
Yeah,
wasn't doing sports journalism. I really love plays. I love musicals more than anything. I really love musicals. I'm somebody who my top three is Wicked, Hairspray, and Hamilton. I love those three, and I love seeing people that can really sing, dance, act. I mean, I'm not too good of a dancer. I think I can sing okay. I did act in Les Miserables, and I had to drink with me solo.
that's
Um,
amazing.
yeah, definitely. I did that in high school. And I really do have an appreciation for actresses and actors like yourself, because it's not easy to remember lines, remember scripts, and try to act on point and try to give different kind of genres of acting, whether it's drama, comedy, or whatever it is. It's really not easy to do, and I really commend actors and actresses for doing that.
I mean, I admire the theater because that's live. You're performing live. So you
Absolutely.
better be able to improv and push through some stuff. Yeah, I am not as big into theater, but I love Wicked. I liked Hairspray.
Hmm.
I really loved Hamilton. I think anybody likes Hamilton. I think that's like the show
Of
everybody
course.
should watch. So and I
Yeah,
actually years ago was driving a little girl to and from gymnastics, and that's all we listened to in the car. So I have the entire album saved on my Spotify Premium still.
I love it. I love it. I do have The Greatest Showman on my Pandora. Greatest Showman is one of the best movies ever.
Yeah.
No question about it. Love that. Can we talk about your involvement with the movie Barbie? Like, how does one get involved with that blockbuster of a movie? Like, how did you hear about an opening? I mean, what was the process of being involved with that?
I gotta be honest, my modeling agent actually booked me on that, and he emailed me and he said, "Are you available for fitting Sunday?" I said, "Sure." And then I was at the Warner Brothers lot doing a fitting on Sunday. So there was no audition for me. There was nothing like that. I guess there was a casting breakdown for all the agents of for models looking for Barbies. And I was cast as fashion designer Barbie, who is traditionally known as the 1960s busy Barbie doll. And so, yeah, I went to my fitting, I got in my outfit, and then I actually, for whatever reason, thought I was a double. I thought maybe I was just doubling somebody. I wasn't really sure what was going on. The information was slim to none that was given.
Sure,
Uh,
sure.
and yeah, I went to my shoot date and we had a blast. I was there really early, I think like 4 or 5 a.m. in hair and makeup and just hours in hair and makeup actually because it was Barbie. So we had to be, perfect and pristine and your nails and your hair, everything. So
Sure.
um, but oh my God, we had so much fun on that set. It was definitely a long day to play dress up, but it was a cool day.
Did you get a chance to meet anybody, or maybe like, or obviously Ryan Gosling and Margot? Did you get a chance to meet any of the actors that you remember having conversations with that was impactful to you?
Yeah, I mean, our scene was with Margot, so Margot was with us the whole day,
Okay.
which was cool. She's great. If I could work with anybody ever again in my life that I've like an A-lister, it would be her. Um, she's she kind of reminds me of me in a way where like I'm interested in everything. You could tell me that you're an accountant for a law firm and I want to know what your day-to-day looks like. Like I'm very curious. I like to know the behind the scenes of every little thing.
Yep.
And so, I don't know how we got on this topic, but we talked about birth. Like we literally talked about being a midwife and like giving birth and like going to a birthing center and this whole deal. So, but yeah, we talked about that. And then she asked me because I was actually at a screening the night before for a movie that I was in, and she just was like casually like, "Oh, like what did you guys do this weekend?" And I was like, "Oh, I went to a movie screening." And
Hmm.
like yeah, she was really cool. She asked me about it. She asked how I liked playing the character and yeah, so she's super cool. I would love to work with her again at some point in life. Maybe on something she's producing. I don't know.
No, that would be amazing. Absolutely. Which is fitting because that's one of the reasons why I do this podcast is because I like to give people a perspective of how and why you do what you do. But also a behind the scenes look. There's a lot of people sometimes that see you in front of the camera, Molly, or see just actresses or actors in general. And sometimes they say they got it made. The glitz and glamour, right? But they don't understand the behind the scenes work that you have to do with each
Yeah.
role, and each job and stuff like that. Like you just said, using makeup for hours. And it was a
Hmm.
long day of shooting, but people don't know that because they don't see it. They only see the finished product, which comes on in theaters. Um, and I liked talking to people about that because it gets more information out on why people should or want to inquire. Like if you want to inquire about this life, it's amazing to do, but you can't, half step. Like you got to be either all in or you got to find something that you're going to be all in about.
Yeah. No, it's a fun life that I live. It's funny because you might get 1 or 2 days of the glam versus like 1,000 days of work is what it feels like. So like there are nights like I had a movie. I flew to Dallas last month and went to a movie premiere for a Christmas movie that I was in, and like that was why I do what I do. It was so fun getting back together with the cast and crew and seeing something that you work really hard on come to
Mhm.
life. Um,
Sure.
so that's a big why for me. It's like, wait, that one night of like a lot of fun, in a way is kind of worth the audition, the
Absolutely.
callbacks and the producer sessions and then the filming. I mean, the filming you're especially depending on, the job and the state that you're in, you can be filming, 10 to 18 hours a day. It's a lot. So, yeah, I mean, I'm so grateful and I've just had really good opportunities. I think I'm just a very, very lucky girl in that department.
Sure. Sure.
Mm.
But you definitely deserve your flowers too. Yeah, luck is definitely involved, but you definitely put some hard work in there. And you're
Yeah,
gonna continue to do great. Yeah, a
little
little
elbow
bit.
grease. Yeah.
Yeah, a little elbow grease, and you deserve it. And you're gonna continue doing amazing things, no question about that. Which is a great segue because I want to ask you about a top four. And this is actually a bonus question that came up in my mind. I want to ask you about a top 4 bucket list of either roles you want to play or type of roles that you would love to play in your acting career, or you can give me a top 4 of maybe sporting events that you would
Mm,
like to go to and cover.
I'll give you a mixture.
Talk
Um,
to me.
I would love to do something like a period piece, like maybe a Taylor Sheridan period piece or something like an old Western, I think would be really fun.
Hmm,
I've auditioned for quite a few of them. Um, or like faith-based films. That's like kind of the segue I'm getting into that I would love to be in.
okay.
Um, and sporting events, I would love to go to the Stanley Cup Championship. I think that would be so fun in hockey. I've actually been to a Stanley Cup playoff game, which the Capitals were playing the Florida Panthers in Miami. So me and my brother went to that when I was living there, but and then I would also love to go to the national championship for football this year. So, um, or college football, sorry, the CFP in Atlanta. I think that would be really fun. And who knows, maybe I could go in January. You just, I'm calling all my connections in Atlanta. Can I get a ticket? How can I get a ticket? How can I just be in the stadium again? The last time I was in that stadium was for Taylor Swift, so there's lots of good memories at that stadium for me.
Yeah, you and me both. Now that I still have family out there, it's where I went to undergrad for school at Kennesaw State University. So I still have a lot of Atlanta ties down there. I am looking to try to get to that game as well. So if you are there, Molly, you better not hesitate to say what up. That's for
Mhm.
sure.
We'll get a
Okay.
steak. Yeah, we'll get a steak. Great.
No doubt, no doubt. And I love your top 4, by the way. That's amazing. One of my favorite players, before I ask this next question, is Mike Modano, which you obviously know. He's a Dallas Star great. He's one of my favorite players ever to play in hockey, along with Gretzky, Crosby, they're the kids, what they call them. And I'm starting to really like the kid off the Edmonton Oilers quite a
Yep.
bit.
Hmm.
His name is slipping me, but oh, Connor McDavid. Connor McDavid.
Yeah.
Uh,
A funny story. I was born like 10 days before Mike Modano won the Dallas Stars Stanley in 1999. Yeah, that
wow.
was like, yeah, the my parents always talk about that. They're like, it's crazy that like we were literally sitting with like a newborn and watching the Stanley Cup Championship in our hometown in Dallas. Like that was so crazy to be able to watch.
I love it. That's what's up. Okay. I want to ask you about advice. I asked you about giving advice to others, but what is some advice that someone has gave you, Molly, that you hold on dearly to?
Just life advice
Could be
or
both. It could be
career?
both.
Hmm. Um, I mean, definitely the biggest like life advice like my mom has always said is like no is a full sentence and you're always in control of your location. I think those two things
Mm,
are really important to go by in my career and my personal life. Like, I don't need to explain why I say no. I never need to go into that conversation if it's a job or a friendship or whatever. Like, just no is no. And then I'm always in control of my location, meaning like if I don't like something or I'm not not vibing with a city anymore, I leave because I'm like I am in control of my location. I can go where I want and do what I want. I'm an adult and I live in this like free country, so it's I should be able to do that. And I think those two little things have really helped me navigate like my adult life and especially in this career.
feel that. I like that. And absolutely. I love that advice. Shout out to Mama for giving such great advice. That's what's up. I love that.
Yeah,
Um, Molly, we are coming to the end of the podcast, which means we're going to have rapid fire. So that means the first thing that comes to your mind, you just blurt it out with pride. Okay,
got
so
it.
here we go. Burgers or tacos?
Tacos,
Pancakes or waffles?
waffles,
Okay. French toast or eggs?
French toast,
Favorite color?
purple,
Favorite TV show?
entourage.
That's a good one. That's a classic one. I like that. I like the Ronda Rousey one where he had turtle on the ground. You remember? Okay, you remember that? Okay, yeah, that's my favorite. Okay, favorite favorite ice cream.
Mint chocolate chip.
Favorite board game.
I like cards. Card
Okay,
game.
favorite
Yeah.
card game.
Rummy.
Ooh, okay. I like me some rummy now. Okay, spades or dominoes.
Dominoes.
Okay, if you had a choice to bring three people with you on a vacation, and you can go anywhere in the world, who would those three people be? Plus you, total of four, and where would you go?
I'd want to go back to Europe. Maybe like south of France or Italy. I've already been to France, so maybe Italy or Spain.
Mhm.
Um, I
Now
love
you can take celebrities too. Now, if you don't want to leave family members out,
Oh, I could take celebrities. Okay, anybody? Wow.
anybody.
Ooh, I don't know. I think like obvious like I would have to bring Taylor because I need to ask her a lot of questions. I have questions. Um,
Okay.
I think I'd want to bring like I think I'm honestly so controversial. I would want to bring like Donald Trump because I have a lot of questions too for that. Like some sort of political, either him or like Obama.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
or
better grill him too. You better
you
grill.
know, you know what? Both. I'm gonna bring Taylor Swift, Barack Obama, and Donald Trump, and we're all gonna go on a vacation and have a very open conversation about our beliefs.
Molly, that would be one hell of a conversation on that flight on that flight to Europe.
At least we're flying Air Force One. Okay.
That's true. That's very true. I like that. Okay. Favorite alcoholic drink.
Beer. Gluten-free beer now, but beer.
Okay. If you had a choice to choose three artists or three songs that you can listen to on repeat and never get tired of, who would those three artists or three songs be?
Um, I love Maverick City Worship, like
Oh yeah.
all of their songs.
Hmm.
Elevation Worship has a song called All of the Sudden that I love. Um, I play that on repeat already, but and then I really like I love the song Mastermind from the Midnight's album from Taylor Swift because she's a mastermind. Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yes, Maverick City Music. He's in the Room is one of my favorite songs. No question about it. Definitely a bop. Hillsong, United. I Am Who You Say I Am.
Yeah.
Is one of my favorite songs. I love Chris Tomlin.
Mm.
Probably all time favorite of that genre to me is Marvin Sapp's Never Would Have Made It.
Oh,
Probably one of my favorite. I can listen to that all day long. No
that
question.
and The Blessing by Carrie Job and Cody Carnes and Elevation Worship. That song is like it like I remember like crying the first time I ever heard it. It was so good.
Okay, I'm with you on that. I like that. We got a couple more of the
Okay.
rapid fire. Okay. Now, which sport would you play or would you consider playing that you think you play really good at? Which sport?
Any sport?
Any sport. That's your best sport that you play at.
Beach volleyball or gymnastics?
Which sport do you absolutely suck in?
Basketball.
Oh Lord, we're gonna fix that. Don't worry about it. Say less. We're gonna fix it. I can play.
Like, I played. I wasn't good.
Okay, well, we're going to have to start from the beginning then. We're going to start from the very beginning. Basic stuff. Basketball is such a wonderful sport to play, but at least you tried. That's what matters. Okay. If they came to you, Molly, and they said, hey, you can only do one of these for the rest of your career, be an actress or be a sports podcast host, which one would you do if money wasn't in the equation at all and you just had to pick a job?
I would probably be an actress. Like as much as I love sports, I think I can talk about that in my like personal life as well. Yeah, I think I would be an actress for sure. There's a lot of characters that I haven't played yet that I want to play.
I love that. I love that. What is something that I should check out of yours that's upcoming? Like, what's some upcoming projects that you have that you could talk about that, because obviously I'm a new fan of yours. I think you're terrific in more ways than one. and I want to be able to be a supporter.
Yeah, hopefully in the next year, I filmed that hockey movie. I think the hockey movie is going to be one to check out for sure.
Okay.
That's been, yeah, I mean that was amazing, and I'm the lead in it, so it's mine, and it's a project that I hold near and dear to my heart because it was my first big project, and it's also with the sport that I love, and it also involves women in sports, which is really, really cool. And yeah, I'm really excited. I'm looking forward to that coming. I'm not sure when it's coming out yet.
Mhm. What's the name of it?
It's a pending title, so I'm not 100% sure.
Mm.
Originally it was supposed to be this really fun movie called Gretzky's Office, but I don't know if we're changing that or not.
Okay.
I have no idea what they're doing with that, but it's a good movie, and there's some good pop-ups that are gonna happen, and I'm very excited for it to come out eventually.
Absolutely. You know, I'm definitely going to go support that. You just let me know what avenues I got to get to it, whether I got to buy it
Yeah,
online.
well, if we do the screening in Minnesota, you're absolutely invited. I'll definitely invite you to that.
Please do. I'm actually going to be starting to cover the Minnesota Frost. I don't know if you're familiar with the
Oh,
Professional Women Hockey League. They have a game on Thursday, so I will be covering that. So I'm going to be having video and photos and talking about different things like that. So I'll be in the press room covering them. I'm also covering them on their next home game, which is January 4th as well. So the next two home games of the Minnesota Frost, I will be doing that as a sports reporter
that's
covering.
amazing.
So yes, please stay tuned. I'll have videos up on my social medias on that, and I'm very excited too because, like I said, I'm a huge advocate for women's sports. I'm actually in master school right now, and I'm getting my master's in May of 25, and my capstone is a feature story talking about the inequalities of women's sports reporting. I think we need more voices, male, of all ethnicities, talking about this. I really think that there's a distance between men's sports reporting and women's sports reporting, and that's unfortunate. It's near and dear to my heart. I really want to see more women covering sports because out here and working at it for a few years out here, and even in Atlanta when I was doing it, you never saw women on the field. You never
Yeah,
saw women covering sports, not even calling it, broadcasting it, writing about it, not even photography. I think
yeah,
more has happened in the years since I first started, but it's not enough. And I think the needle should be moved a little bit more. So I'm
amazing.
writing about that.
That's amazing. Yeah, you should write a show about it.
You know, that would be something if I ever do, you know who I'm casting as the lead girl. That's for sure. Hello, I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that. This has been absolutely amazing, Molly. You are absolutely dope. Learning about you growing up in the Carolinas, in the Dallas area, but also transitioning now to New York and Los Angeles as an actress, doing sessy stuff with your girls, although your best friend is on the opposite end of you. That so doesn't matter. You guys make great content, great videos. You have a blast doing it, and you're doing something that you love to do. You gave great advice on being an actress and what it takes to be an actress. And we've had great conversations. I loved your answers. Thank you for allocating your time to me once again, coming on my podcast. This was really fun. And as always, my final question to you is there anything else you would like to add about yourself, the job, or anything at all before we conclude?
No, I think I just want to thank you for having me on and having all the girls on. I think, we all were group texting about this, and we were really excited about it. So we're excited to get the word out more about women in sports. And I think it's a promising topic. And I think it's going to be a huge, huge world for these young girls to step into in the next 10 years. So, just trying to open up that door and lead them in. But yes, thank you so much, and also for being flexible. I mean, yeah, seriously, if you ever want to chat again, I'm so open-minded, and so like doors always open. And if you're ever in LA, we'll get tacos and a steak.
Absolutely, definitely. It's my hometown, so I definitely will be back out there sooner or later. Molly, you and I will definitely stay in touch as the rest of your other team as well. You enjoy your Tuesday evening, I should say, and we'll be in touch. Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. Also, traveling back home to see your
You too. Merry Christmas. I wish you the best.
family.
Bye.